It is my pleasure to introduce the first of Nazareth Area High School's class of 2021 graduate speakers. This year's honor graduate is Alexandra Zuluaga. Alexandra will be attending Villanova University as a cognitive and behavioral neuroscience major and a part of the honors program. Alexandra aspires to become a pediatric psychiatrist and help kids work through their mental troubles. Please welcome Alexandra Zuluaga.
Oh, that's loud. In my summer before freshman year, a few weeks before school began, my sister Emily handed me a piece of paper. And on the top it read, "Freshman advice from a senior." I'd spent most of that summer worrying about what changes would come from my transition to high school, whether that would be where to go on the first day or how bad the batteries would hurt at the pep rallies. This piece of paper, however, held 62 different tips from an incoming senior, and I figured it would come in handy, so I saved it. Some tips were helpful, like number 23, the world will not end if you lose 2 homework points. Some were interesting, like number 56, there really is a room at Nazareth that's just a ginormous rock. However, the most important tip was the very first one on the list. They're not lying when they say it flies by. Enjoy it. Here we are now at graduation, almost 4 years later, and I didn't know how true her words would ring. Despite what my sister told me, high school was still very much a waiting game for me. It was always the, I just have to get through this week mentality. And I'm sure many of you can relate. Waiting for finals week to be over, waiting for it to be the weekend, waiting for it to be the night of the dance, and of course, waiting to be a senior so you can finally yell, "Go home, freshman!" That was the one I was looking forward to the most. In 9th grade, there were many moments that I would envy the seniors, especially because my sister was one. They got to make skits for homecoming. They got to sit in the front of the student section at football games and scream at the top of their lungs. They got their own formal in winter, which was apparently the best one yet. And most of all, they didn't have a care in the world. It was their last year, so they made the most of it. This waiting continued throughout my underclassmen years, but by March 2020, I truly wanted to be a senior more than anything. As a junior in tough AP classes, worrying about test-filled weeks, college essays, SAT prep, and everything in between, just walking into school gave me a sinking feeling. People told me junior year is going to be hard, but I was beyond drained. I was fixated on everything laid out ahead, and I just kept telling myself, just get through this week. However, on Friday the 13th, I got the same email everyone else did. We were all to stay in our homes away from school for 2 weeks. And you would think that someone as stressed out about school as I was would be really happy about this, but I remember feeling even more overwhelmed. Everything was up in the air. Is prom still happening? Are the AP exams still going? And of course, the big one, is it all actually coming to an end? Once online school started, I realized that despite the lockdown, time is still passing by, and this made me feel really hopeless for a long time. I wasted much of high school waiting for my senior year, yet here I am spending the end of my junior year in the extra room taking online tests. It was really bad. Nobody knew what next year would be like, and let alone the summer, and I couldn't help but wish things were different. Then I remember my sister's words. They're not lying when they say it flies by. Enjoy it. It was true that there was nothing I could do to change the fact that I wasn't going to have a normal rest of my junior year, and I would very likely have an unconventional senior year. But even though it felt like it, this wouldn't be the end of the world. With that, I thought to myself, who said a closed world had to be a bad world? Between last spring and now, I made myself go on as many adventures as I could, whether at home or safely in public. My friend and I made a road trip out of going to a petting zoo. I stayed in touch with friends due to interacting online. I went to Zoom sleepovers. And even though stadiums are only now opening up, I watched at least 10 online concerts, another one coming up soon. As for senior year, it wasn't what any of us imagined. But I'm happy to say that my last year at Nazareth was a memorable one. The homecoming skits were pretty funny, even if not in person. Football games weren't as loud as usual, but definitely still exciting. As for the formal, I knew in my heart that wouldn't happen. However, prom did, and as the tables emptied up at the end, my friends and I requested all of our favorite songs and we danced for one last time. The memories I made as a senior were not the ones that I expected, but I know I'll cherish them forever. They say time is money, and it's true. Time is valuable and it should not be wasted. So with all of this being said, I hope my fellow graduates make the most out of every single second of their lives. Don't fret about the future because the truth is nobody knows what's to come. The only thing you can control is how you find joy in your journey. As I look ahead at the class of 2021, I know you'll all go far, but just remember to stop and look around every once in a while. I wish I'd done that more during high school, but now I'm sure I'll do it for the rest of my life because my sister was right. They're not lying when they say it flies by. Enjoy it. Thank you.